babies than you can afford.
I'm Marilyn. Most of my life, I didn't know who I was. This is a series about how I finally found the words to understand my journey. Now, to understand my journey, I have to go to the very beginning. Now, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not pointing finger. I'm just simply stating the kind of childhood I had that has led me to this point in my life. So, I come from a very young mother. My mother had me at 17, and my dad was nearing his 40s when he had me. I was the first child, and I think because of the age difference, my parents didn't get along. I saw things my siblings didn't have to see. I didn't grow up in an environment where there was peace. I cannot remember a day when both my parents sat together. They had a lovely chat. I have no memories of that. The only memories I've had of my parents are those of fighting. Not just fighting, it's brutal. There were bottles involved and there was blood involved, and that's all I knew. I didn't come from a home that regulated my nervous system. Everything was chaotic. I got to experience it. I was knee deep into it because at some point in my little age, from age whenever I became conscious to age 7, I was always a mediator. I was always the center for aggression. It's either where the aggression is poured upon, or I have to act as a mediator for my parents to behave. It was so bad. Coupled with the fact that I didn't have a peaceful home, I also didn't have a home where everything was provided for me. In fact, I came from a really poor home and resources were scarce because my mother was young, wasn't really allowed to work. She was given pregnancy back to back. She had 5 of us until she left. Coupled with the beatings, the pregnancy back to back, disrespect. My mother, because she was a teenager, so she didn't really impact anything into me. Rather, I was the container for the abuse that my father abused her. And that was my childhood. Now, when I hear people say, have more children than you can afford, please don't. I am that child that will tell you no, because I lived in abject poverty. I lived in a home where I couldn't invite my friends to. It really dealt with my self esteem and how I presented myself to the world. How I survived my childhood is still a mystery to me because when my mother left, I was left with a father who was not emotionally present. He was not physically present most of the time because he had to work. At 7, I would be left at home for weeks, and sometimes there will be no food. But thank goodness there was a community that some people will sell, people who sell goods, some of these women who sell things, food stuff and the rest of them will come to my home and get, we have like this list that they will give us maybe rice or gari, and they will write a list and say give it to your father when he comes. So that was it. He wasn't physically present. When he was present, there was no emotional connection. It was just, have you cooked? Have you cleaned the house? Have you washed the dishes? There was really no heart to heart talk. There was really no space for mistakes or vulnerability. vulnerability. That is my biggest problem because that was stolen from me from childhood. Well, so that's how I grew up. Chaos. Chaos. I cannot remember how I survived. That is called dissociation. I dissociated from childhood because my brain did that to protect me because I was going through immense trauma. I was having to navigate people who wanted to do harm to me as a child. Trust me, there were a lot of people who noticed my family dynamics, wanted to deeply hurt me. I was even hurt by some people. So my body couldn't take it, my brain couldn't take it. I dissociated and I started living my life like a robot. So that's why I cannot remember much of my childhood. There is no remembrance of play or any moments of enjoyment. There's none. So I can't remember because I live in a state of dissociation. So if you're thinking of bringing that child into a chaotic home, expecting that things are just automatically going to turn around, turn good, it's not. You're gonna give that child CPTSD, which they might not recover from their whole life. So in my next series, I'm going to talk about from age 11 to age 17. I would term that my mother.